bunch of research. I have 5 edges
What?
and 3 safeties written down.
Sorry, my bad. I hit it and didn't tell you that,
My
but it
man.
just came on. Sorry, my bad. Welcome in everybody to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm James Haskell, along with my co-host Glenn Martin and DK in the background. We are here on Wednesday night, of course, because the game was on Monday night when we shellacked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, sent them packing, even though we were the ones that flew back home. But we are here to kind of revisit that. Obviously, a lot of things have happened in the league just today. We got a lot to talk about, all kinds of things. Transactions, Ravens transactions, potential trade targets, everything else. So put your seatbelt on. It's going to be a fun show. But before we get into it, Glenn, talk to us about what BetOnline's got going on. They've been doing some cool stuff throughout the season. You've been talking about some political props or some bets, odds, stuff like that. That's heating up. What's going on at BetOnline, man?
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything sports betting. Has every stat, matchup, breakdowns, and even live odds and spreads to bet on while the games are being played. Has also the largest catalog of odds on everything from football, MLB playoffs, NHL, NBA, and political props as we near closer to Election Day. When the games are over or when the election's over, head on over to the online casino and get in a hand of blackjack, some poker, or unwind with over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action with the world's most trusted betting platform. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Let's go, man. The game. Glenn, I want to talk about, well, actually, I know in our pre-show, and sorry if you guys for being a little bit delayed. Glenn had to deliver some hilarious news to me that one day will be revealed. All that being said, I want to talk about transactions inside the Ravens, things, not just transactions, I guess, but like stuff that's happening, like guys that are coming back and things like that. So I'll let you deliver the news and then I'll give you my take on it and we can go back and forth just like we do every other night.
That's right. Well, the biggest news, we got a couple guys coming back from IR, Jimbo. And I'm going to start with the name that might not get you the most excited. It's Jalen Armour-Davis. And look, before the injury, he was playing pretty consistently for us. He was a solid player and certainly adds depth to the cornerback room. But that's not the name that grabbed the headlines, Jimbo. Keaton Mitchell is back at practice, ladies and gentlemen, and looking fast, looking explosive, looking like Keaton Mitchell. And, man, look, the practice window opens today. So he has 3 weeks before he has to be added to the active roster. And expectations are that he's right on track with that. The question is, when will he be activated? Are they going to take the full 3 weeks of prep, or are they going to get him out there a little bit sooner? What's your kind of expectation? First of all, what was your thoughts when you saw him back at practice wearing the uniform, sprinting around out there? And then what's your expectation on how long it'll be before we actually see him on a Sunday?
Yeah, so I'll answer the first one. I think the 3 weeks, he'll take the full time. I think that's pretty traditional with the Ravens.
Yeah.
I think he'll take the full time. But as far as expectations and well, my excitement, my initial reaction was, I mean, look, I got excited because he's nothing but fireworks on the football field, right? But then you think in the back of your mind, what's it like coming off of that type of injury as far as recovery time and what will his explosiveness look like? And then I get nightmares of like J.K. Dobbins limping. Remember the whole J.K. Dobbins thing where like
he straightened his leg, but he was playing NFL running back.
Right. He didn't even have full range of motion at that point. So I just don't want to see that from Keaton Mitchell. Certainly want him to be as impactful as possible. But as far as an impact, Glenn, what do you think he will have a material impact on this season as he comes back?
Yeah, that's the big question because they don't need him, right? Like they're the number one rushing team. They're out rushing virtually every opponent by 150 yards. And they have the premier bell cow running back in Derrick Henry, who doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. But we all know that this is the NFL. This is a league where injury is 100%. Like every player gets injured at some point in their career. And even the great Derrick Henry, who spends all this money and does all this effort to keep his body in tip-top shape, he's not immune from the possibility of an injury. And the way a person becomes more at risk is, of course, more carries, more opportunities to get hit and get tackled to the ground by guys who are paid a lot of money to do so. And so he does have he's got a lot of carries, and that's not abnormal for Derrick Henry. That's kind of along the norm, but he is 30 years old. It's the first time he's been 30 years old in the NFL and taking on 25 carries a game. So there's some concern of is he going to be at his best when we need him at his best? And that's in the playoffs at the end of the season. So I think this is an awesome addition. It'll help kind of break up the, it's always Justice Hill or Derrick Henry. Well, now we got a third guy in there. And the question is, will they continue to be, are they going to be able to not be predictable? Are they going to be able to make sure they're getting these guys in and they're taking most advantage of the depth they have in that room? I think the initial way we'll see him break on the field, I think he's going to be our kick returner, Jimbo. I mean, imagine
we did talk about that a while back. That feels like forever ago, but didn't we talk about this?
We did with this new format. If Keaton Mitchell sees a window, I mean, goodbye. The guy is out of there. And with Deontay Hardy now on IR,
I like that.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of there's guys that can get the job done, but as far as a guy who could potentially be a game changer at that position and pop a return, I think Keaton Mitchell's the number one guy on this list.
Ah, man, I like that a lot, Glenn. It's funny because I forgot all about that. It feels like a million years ago when we were talking about that, right? But that's a great point because just a crease, man, is it for a guy like Keaton Mitchell, and he can outrun an angle.
Oh yeah,
a perfectly angled defender he can outrun. So that's exciting to think about. And a really good point. I also agree with you that, I do worry about Derrick Henry's pace from a carries perspective. So with that in mind, just another guy back there that can still make an impact, that can still be a player you got to respect in a different way. Obviously, I'm not saying he's Derrick Henry, but, obviously a proven and impactful player to rotate between the three of them keeps obviously Derrick fresher and then the group as a whole. So that's a good point. I initially, obviously super excited, but I was thinking in my head, I'm probably have rose-colored glasses on and maybe his impact won't be had this year or be that profound. But to your point, I like the idea of kick returns for him. And then also just kind of lightening the load on Derrick Henry.
But the one other thing I don't want to see the disappearance of Justice Hill. What he's been doing has been incredible.
Right. I agree. And especially, he as a runner, as a catcher, and then also picking up blitzes. He's just
better on the team.
Yeah. Cream of the crop. So yeah, I agree with you there. How do you increase or how do you not diminish the value of Justice Hill while integrating a guy like Keaton Mitchell? That's the question. So that's
why Monken gets paid the big bucks, Jimbo.
Yeah, that's true. Not us, right? I got a simple brain, dude. I'm out of options.
So the question is, does he eat from Justice Hill's bowl or does he eat from Derrick Henry? I think he kind of eats more from Derrick Henry's a little bit. Which isn't a bad thing. I know it might impact his run for the second 2,000-yard season, which would be the first player in history to do it. And he certainly has his eyes set on breaking the all-time single-season rushing record. But most importantly, I think he wants that Super Bowl, and I think this will help get him there. So let's hope that Keaton can come back and look like Keaton, right?
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I'm hopeful and excited for him. Now I know that was probably going to spend the most time on that one, but I think you also want to talk about Arthur Maulet, right?
Yeah, Arthur Maulet coming back is certainly a boost.
Were we expecting him in the Bucs game?
Well, there was a potential, but I think this gives him the full 3 weeks of practice window before being activated. And I think what makes this so important is that there's the knee injury to, I think it was 3 corners missed practice in the first opportunity to practice for the week. So with Marlon Humphrey dealing with the knee, which isn't serious, but who knows what that means for this weekend's availability. And then we saw Brandon Stevens banged up. There's some guys that are certainly beat up. And so getting Jalen Armour-Davis back, getting Arthur Maulet back is only going to help. And look, it's perfect because Jalen's an outside guy. Arthur's an inside guy. So you're kind of getting one back in both those places. So yeah, big time additions to a struggling secondary.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Obviously with Marlon and I think we're going to talk about that too, avoiding major injury. But I got to be honest, if I'm a betting man, I think Marlon does sit this game. Yeah. And so I think welcoming back Arthur Maulet would be, like you said, a very timely and welcomed addition. Who were the other guys that sat? I know that obviously Marlon was one. Wiggins had the shoulder. He also sat. Who's the third?
Did Stevens end up practicing? I'd have to let me see here if I can find the
Yeah. And no biggie if you can't find it. Yeah, I knew it was those two, but yeah, either way, I agree. Arthur Maulet will be a welcomed addition. I just hope that, I mean, he will, but having the speed and the pop that he's shown in the past is what I'm excited about and looking for. But
TJ
Glenn,
Tampa was the other corner.
Oh, right. He had what was his issue? Is that hammy?
Ankle.
That's what it was. Yeah. And then obviously, who else missed? I know Zay missed practice.
Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphrey, Travis Jones, Rasheen Ali.
Yeah. Lots of ankles.
Yeah, it was. It's almost all those guys were pretty much an ankle. But the big name there, I guess, for concern, I mean, the corners, because there's so many of them.
Right.
Man, I really hope Travis Jones is out there because that dude's been playing lights out. And Cleveland, if nothing else, we know they're going to try and run the ball. They got a bunch of running backs with Nick Chubb back, and they got a pretty good offensive line. So let's hope that Travis Jones is just taking a day and he'll be back out there next practice.
Yeah, Glenn, I got to ask you a question. What was your take on the chanting?
Which chant? Oh, against Deshaun?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'll say. I think it was 100% football related. 100%. Like, I don't think the fans were thinking about his personal issues in that moment. They were thinking, good. This expensive ass piece that we traded. I mean, it's the worst trade in NFL history, and it's not even close. Like, it would have to be a chasm before you get to second. That's how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to pay for it the next 2 years. And the fans, I don't think they ever really liked the guy to start. And he did nothing but just wear his welcome out every time he took the field. So I think it was strictly about the field. I don't think it was necessarily, I mean, you don't necessarily think it's right to cheer for a guy's injury, but it couldn't have happened to a better guy, Jimbo. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think understanding the motive of the fans, while, I mean, I'm not a Browns fan. I don't know if I would do it. I can understand why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because to me, to be honest with you, look, outside looking in, it just doesn't seem like he wanted to play football anymore anyway.
I mean, Jameis said he came in every day, gung-ho. You see Jameis?
Yeah. That man's got no one to stop. Like, that could have been a 10, 15-second triumphant, hey, I just was taught not to hit a man while he's down.
Yep, there you go.
And that could have been it. Like, Jameis, chill. You know, wasn't it Mark Twain that said the hardest thing to do is say a story in like 250 words or less or something like that? Like, I mean, tell a short story, you know? Jameis, let's tell a short story, bro.
He likes to hear himself talk. That's for
you
sure.
know, it's like, geez whiz. Sometimes I ask my father, I'll ask my father-in-law a question and he'll start when he was like 8. And I'm like, no. Let's like, it's like, what's for dinner tonight? Like, I don't need to know about all of that. Like, let's start here today.
Let's get right to. I tell Katie, you know, I hate to say this, but you know, I think a lot of times girls have that issue when they tell a story they want to tell. Oh, hold on, what was Sarah wearing? Oh, what time of day was it? It's like, wait a minute, is that important? So I just tell Katie, look, give me the highlight reel. Just give me the highlights. I don't need to watch the whole game. I just need the highlights. That's all.
Right. There you go.
But I do think Cleveland is better as a football team as far as more competitive.
I mean, they can't be worse.
Yeah, because I mean, this guy was holding the ball too long. This guy was getting sacked at an unbelievably high rate. He couldn't push the ball down the field. He's missing reads. Jameson, at least he'll go out there and say, screw it. I'm going to sling this rock around. I think David Njoku is going to be a huge benefit from this move. I think he becomes a fantasy football option. And I think they're a better football team. Yeah, he might throw 3 picks, but I bet he'll probably throw 300 yards against this defense. But we're not here to talk about the Browns.
No.
Yet. One thing I do want to get your take on, we saw another pass catcher moved in the AFC after the Jets get Devontae Adams, the Bills get Amari Cooper, and then finally the Chiefs get their guy after rumors were spreading that they were trying to find a way to add Cooper Kupp and find a way to add that salary to their team. A little bit under the radar is that they went out and got DeAndre Hopkins from the Tennessee Titans, who, you know, we don't remember him like we did when he was with the Cardinals, but hey, it's a huge upgrade for their room when you look at what was in there and the fact that how the hell does Pat Mahomes have 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, Jimbo, and their team is undefeated? I don't understand what the hell is happening. He's playing his worst football and they have the best team they've had. But like Tone the Virgo says, how in the world does other teams that are playoff/Super Bowl contenders allow the Titans to trade D-Hop to the Chiefs? And more importantly, what the hell is the owner fine with this trade for? But he blocks the Derrick Henry trade to Baltimore last year, this son of a gun. I mean, he's okay with this bullshit. He's okay trading the Chiefs, who've won how many years in a row? The only thing they had, the hole they had in their roster, the glaring weakness on their team was their wide receiver position. And they're like, yeah, we'll just trade. No, hell no. You can't tell me that was the only offer you got for D-Hop. And even if it was, I'm not making a trade with the damn evil empire that is the Chiefs. I agree with Tone the Virgo, but does this make you the third team now in the AFC? I don't know if you call the Jets a contender, but the third team in the AFC that are trying to kind of bolster their receiving core and increase their offensive output. Do you think this makes the Ravens more likely to add at the deadline?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy. I mean, so here's the thing. Does Eric DaCosta feel external pressure now, right? I don't know if you want to act with a motivating factor being external pressure. I don't know if that makes you make the right move. I think before this, they already had this in mind. I don't know how much this made up, like this push them over the line. I think the Ravens if the move is there to be had, I think the Ravens will make the move. I don't know if this really changes their minds. If that makes sense. I think that they're self-aware enough to know, just like all of us, that our pass rush needs to be improved. It just does.
Yeah.
This is the only thing I'll say, Glenn. Mm-hmm. The Ravens, maybe more than any other team, really believe in their guys. And we saw this in the offseason with the offensive line. Everybody was up in arms, including ourselves. Everybody's worried. Three new guys out of 5. And now it's probably fair to say that the offensive line is like a strength of this team. You know, and I mean, look, I don't know how you contrary, right? Like, who's that? Oh my gosh, Ronnie Stanley might be the best left tackle right now. If not, he's like
pretty damn good too in Tampa. Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, Ronnie's allowed 0 sacks this year. Very, very little pressure. Now there's a Lamar effect to that, but Ronnie is playing.
Oh, dude, his run blocking down the field.
Yeah, I mean, he's so hyped about it, right? Like he's just so into it right now. And then you add in the other guys that have just gotten better every week. So my point in saying all that is that we might not see a move. Ravens fans might have to be okay with that because the Ravens believe in their guys above all else, unless the move is right. Now, I know you have some targets, and I think one of them is a former Raven, which might be the right move. So maybe we should talk about some potential targets. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I did some looking around. Now, I only focused on the positions that I felt were
edge. What else?
Safety.
Okay, cool. That's fair.
I think we need to talk safety for sure because look, Eddie Jackson is the 82nd ranked safety in the league, and not to be or barely to be outdone is Marcus Williams at 75. So. It's really, really bad. I don't know what happened to Marcus Williams. He's playing 40 yards off the line of scrimmage before every snap. He's not trying to hit anyone. He's basically removing himself from the play and becoming nothing more than a safety valve on the back end, making absolutely 0 plays. 0. Like no plays whatsoever. And then Eddie Jackson, a complete liability. So safety behind, however, still behind edge, because I still think edge is the more important position and you could kind of get by. You could figure things out at safety. But, man, I wouldn't mind seeing them add to both. So when it comes to the edge, I think the reason they need to and look, it can be over. Like, I see what you're saying, like, because the offensive line had a huge turnaround. And and Eric DaCosta could look at moments and go, man, they look pretty good in Buffalo. And they could look at even that Bucs game where we got absolutely, cooked defensively. We had 6 straight stops in the middle of that game. Now, it got out of hand in the second half, and part of that's game script. Part of that is, that bend but don't break. Dean Pease might have gotten here and influenced that pretty quick. But I think we need to consider, what if Mike Evans didn't get hurt on that play? What if he caught that ball? and he stayed in the rest of the game. How different could this game have looked? I think it could have looked a lot different. But so I'm going to say they need to be able to put more pressure on the quarterback. They did not look good on Sunday or Monday night. So the first target, I'm going to say, you mentioned him already, Jadeveon Clowney. Seems like a logical guy that the Ravens would be interested in. They know they like the guy. Yep. Clowney said, I've only finished one season in my career happy, and that was with the Ravens. Well, look, you can have your cake and eat it too. Get your money from Carolina, end your season in Baltimore. That's called a win-win in my business.
Yeah, and you know what, Glenn? I like that one a lot. I mean, obviously, like you said, because he's a known commodity here. And this is the big thing that you got to think about, right? I mean, it's probably not a good idea to have to blitz Mahomes all the time. At this point, they're the target, right, in the AFC. Yep. And so we've got to figure out how to get home without relying overly on the blitz. Because what does Mahomes do when you blitz him?
Destroys you.
Yeah, he just lights you up, right? And it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts over and over. You see the same thing happen. So to your point, I like Clowney. Yeah, he gets paid. Let Carolina make the mistake. We'll give him a little bit of draft compensation so they can feel good about their rebuild, you know, their eternal rebuild. And we can bring Clowney back into the fold, right?
Now, he only has 1 sack so far this year.
That's okay.
But he is playing for, one of the very worst teams in the league. Next target, I'm going to say.
Well, and really quickly, I also want to say, Clowney, we know this as well. I mean, if he comes into this room, is he I guess, do you consider Clowney a better pass rusher than Van Noy? I mean, I guess Van Noy from a pass rush perspective is better.
But they both had, the same amount of sacks last year?
Yeah.
Maybe better.
Clowney's probably the best guy in the room. Yeah. He's already the best guy in the room, even with the 1 sack. I mean, Clowney's just the best overall edge player in the room as soon as he walks in. Wouldn't you agree?
Yep, 100%. And then the next target, we'll be seeing him this weekend, Zadarius Smith from the Cleveland Browns, has 4 sacks so far on the season. We know that they've already been open to trading one big-time name on their team with Amari Cooper. Apparently, David Njoku's being shopped around. And there's even teams kicking the tires on Myles Garrett, although it seems like they're unwilling to trade him. Which, man, if they traded him, what a classic Browns move that would be. But Zadarius Smith, and by the way, all these guys, I'm not bringing them up if they don't have reasonable contracts.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, this is a refined list. This isn't Madden, guys.
Yeah, this is not. Go get this guy.
The only thing I was going to say though is that the Browns. Do you think there's any way they would actually do anything with the Ravens from a trade perspective?
Man, I think it's unlikely. I'll admit that. This is their most bitter rival. They don't like us more than any team in the league. And so, I could see that. However, Andrew Berry, their GM, is from Bel Air.
Yeah.
And so who knows? If it's up to him, maybe he's okay with it. But I think if it's up to the owner, they'd say, let's find a different trade partner. So I'll give you that. That might not work. And then there's another one here. Joshua Uche from the New England Patriots. He has 2 sacks currently on the year. Doesn't look like it looks like they're pretty much in the start of a really big rebuild under Jared Mayo. And Uche could be a potential target. I think he's got some potential. He's a young guy, very young, coming off a rookie deal. Probably looking to get a deal, so it would probably be a rental unless they absolutely fall in love with the guy. But that's okay. But not sure he moves the needle enough. How about this guy, Chase Young from New Orleans?
Yeah, I mean, he's local. Chase Young is from down the road, isn't he? He's from the DC area, isn't he?
He was initially with the Commanders.
Right, but I mean, I think he's from the DC area as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe.
Somebody
correct me. Ohio State. I think
he went to Ohio State, but I think he's from here. Okay. Anyway, look, Chase Young his career hasn't turned into what he was hoping it would turn into.
Right.
It was weird. You know what was weird? I felt like he was so fast in college. All of a sudden, he got in the pros, and he was like not fast anymore.
Yeah, I mean, some people wonder the injuries if they kind of took a toll.
Definitely. Well, yeah, for sure. And I mean, he's a bigger guy now than he was back then, but still, he's a talented player.
Yeah, no doubt.
Simply put, a talented player. So yeah, I would. If the price is right, yeah, he's from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. And like DK pointed out, dude, Glenn, think about the year he was born, 1999.
Dude, that is really crazy. I don't like that, dude.
Dude, he's 25. He's 25 years old.
Yeah, that's insane, bro. Holy.
So, yeah, I would like that name as well. I wouldn't be as hopeful that he comes in and makes the impact that Clowney does. I think that Clowney for sure is head and shoulders the most impactful guy you've named on that list.
Well, I got one left on the edge. I got one left, and he's my favorite of them all, Jimbo.
Oh, boy. We saved the best for last. Sean Cole says, what about Calais Campbell, huh?
I don't think he's much of a pass rusher at this point. I think he would help the run defense, but we're already the number one run defense in the league. Didn't necessarily look like that on Monday night, but I mean, I love Calais Campbell. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I don't think he would really get what we need at the edge position. But I appreciate the generosity and the super chat, Sean. Appreciate that. T. Will Wilt says, go get that Thanos ring from Miami, Tyreek. Oh, well, that would be insane. But let me tell you, Miami thinks that they're about to make a run. They are expecting Tua back. They got a really good defense. We know the weapons they have on offense. I think they're. I don't think they're trading anyone. If anything, they might be trying to bring in some additional help and make this run.
Glenn, I talked to you about this. My nephew, of course, he is in a fantasy league that he's very concerned about. And he asked me after, and I consulted with you. I don't know if you remember this, but he got a trade after Tua got injured. He drafted Tyreek as his first pick, and somebody proposed a trade him for Amon
Ross St. Brown.
There you go, St. Brown, straight up. And we talked about it, and I thought in my mind and we kind of agreed on this, dude. Hold, because it's a long season. Second half of that season, if Tua comes back and you're roaring back, I mean, it's a big deal. So look, it's about to be on. Oh,
for sure. And he said it. I don't know if you saw, but I don't know if I've ever seen a happier player doing a locker room interview than Tyreek talking about Tua coming back. He's like, suit up. I'm ready to go. I mean, this guy, it couldn't wait. But the guy I've been waiting to tell you about, the guy I'm most excited about. New York Giant, Azeez Ojulari. He's a 6'3", 240-pound edge rusher out of New York. And look, they just signed Kayvon Thibodeau to a long-term deal. They signed Brian Burns to a long-term deal. It's pretty clear that they're not going to also sign this guy who's playing on the final year of his contract. He's got 4 sacks already on the season. He's got he had a sack last game. He had 2 sacks on Joe Burrow the week before. So he's really kind of hitting on all cylinders right now. He's young. He's fast. He's super talented. I would love if they went and got this guy. Obviously, the Giants are no way ready to compete. Man, go get Azeez Ojulari and be happier because of it. I think that guy would be a massive addition to this team.
I like that. I like that a lot. He's a young guy, too. I mean, just a lot of energy.
Dre Mason plays hard. That's a Raven right there.
Yeah, I like that a lot, man. And I guess I appreciate that, Asmodeus. Thank you for the McChickens and protein shakes.
I'm gonna need it. The work 12 miles tomorrow on the bike.
Hey, let's go, dude.
I get up early. Boom, 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 boom.
Pumping it out, baby.
12 miles, baby. Don't be shocked if you get a call in mile 10. All right.
Let's go, dude. I like it. What was I gonna? Is there any possibility they get more than one? I mean, am I just wishing at this point?
Well, I think you'd have to see who it is, but maybe a Uche and Ojulari combination. They're both on expiring rookie deals. They're not insane.
Yeah.
But maybe some of the other guys might be.
What's Chase Young's contract right now? Can't be massive, right?
It's really not. It's definitely a reasonable. Here we go. Chase Young. So it's so crazy how young he is still, dude. Doesn't it feel like he's been around longer than a guy who's only 25? It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So his cap number to start the year was 3.4 million.
So basically nothing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's like half of that.
Yeah. So I mean,
imagine what the Ravens given up. Conditional picks, Steven. Conditional 5s that can turn into 4s, maybe. Stuff like that. 6s,
and not for a guy like Chase. I mean,
no. Maybe
you're talking about something like that. But certainly, imagine getting a Chase and a Clowney, both of them come into this room. Just talk about backup, dude.
Yeah, shoo, that would be intense. But if they can't land an edge, because look, there's a lot of competition.
Dude, my nephew just texted me. Said he was listening to the show. We were talking about his fantasy. Thomas, I hope you held, dude. And I felt bad because the next game, St. Brown lit it up.
Well, Jameis Williams is suspended.
Yeah,
for
but dude,
PDs.
Tyreek is about to go
off.
off.
He's gonna go
Anyway.
crazy, dude. And I still think he's the best receiver, fantasy wise, when Tua is healthy in the league. He carried my team last year. I had him on my team. It was unbelievable.
Right.
But there's a lot of competition at the edge position. Detroit lost Hutchinson, broke his leg after, they're right now, power rankings wise, number one team in the NFC, and just knocked off a pretty good. Who'd they just beat, Jimbo? Oh, the undefeated Minnesota
the
Vikings.
Right? Yep.
So that was a big win for them.
Big time. Dude, they're legit.
They're legit, and they could be looking to add edge guys after Hutchinson's loss. So it's not going to be cheap, and I hope the Ravens don't allow themselves to be outbid by a small margin and ultimately end up regretting it while they watch their pass rushers dance with the tackles on the Chiefs while Pat Mahomes sits back and waits for guys to get open.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see that. But if they can't land, he's asking if I can see the shirt. Baltimore,
Let's go.
That's what we do. That's all we do. But as far as if they don't land an edge, I think they could attack the safety position because, again, Marcus Williams, 75. Eddie Jackson, 82. That's their ranking in the league at safety. That's pretty pathetic, guys. I mean, I think there's like 85 total safeties ranked. So it's really bad. By the way, just for perspective, Kyle Hamilton's ranked number 12. So big difference there. And I think Kyle is playing probably below what his standard would be. It's certainly the standard he set last year. He was ranked higher than that. But if they can't add edge, I think they could maybe kick the tires on Budda Baker, who's currently the number 23 ranked safety, has an expiring contract.
Mm-hmm.
He's still relatively young in that I think he's like 28, 29, even though it seems like, again, he's been around for forever. And man, is that guy got ball skills, instincts, leader. I mean, you name it, Budda Baker's got it. And man, would that guy look good in purple? I think that's an opportunity. Xavier Woods, who's the 34th ranked safety in the league. Let's see. Asmodeus says, I like Olajari. No Chase Young. I live in Northern Virginia with tons of Skins fans. All of them said the pass rush got better when he left. Well, I think how many first round picks did they have in top 10 in particular in their front?
Yeah, that group was just ridiculous.
Yeah, but I don't blame. I know Chase Young doesn't have a motor that everyone likes and certainly doesn't play like a Raven.
If he was the only guy that we brought in, I obviously wouldn't be impressed. But it's not like
about inspiration and knowing you're competing. Does that change?
I think it does for sure. Right. Context matters.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I think you have to, relative to the room. I mean, Asmodeus, I understand your point, but are you writing home about David Ajabo right now?
No.
Like, I guess Adafe had a good game. I mean, that's fair. But KVN is kind of slowed down, obviously, from a sack perspective. He had the 3-2-2-2 games or whatever, but I don't know how much you're holding on hope for our current room. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, look, I haven't spent a ton of time looking at Chase Young this year as a player, so I can't really speak, but those who have seen him look like they want no parts of him. So
for sure. But it's all relative, right?
It's certainly. And look, I think the Saints all know that they're kind of out of it at this point. Like they came out the gate hot, 2-0, looking like one of the best teams, and then have absolutely tanked. They lost their quarterback. I think that motivation certainly plays a role in how hard someone's playing. Not to say it should. These guys are pros. They get paid millions of dollars. I think it does. It matters. And but I would trust Asmodeus's eye. I'm sure he's watched him. And I don't want a guy who's going to drive me crazy watching him display lack of effort. So I'm okay with that. Xavier Woods, the number 34 ranked safety currently by PFF. And then Andre Cisco, number 58. Again, all would be upgrades. These are guys that all could be affordable, wouldn't be crazy compensation as far as draft picks or what we have to pay them when they arrive. All those guys, I think, are possibilities. I saw some Tyrann Mathieu. I'd love if they got the Honey Badger. I mean, you talk about instincts. That guy writes the book when it comes to instinct. I'll never forget watching that guy in college. Like, the most, like, ridiculously instinctual, impactful, like, Ed Reed would just totally blow off his assignment and go make a play. He'd be covering the deep third. He'll go pick a guy off in the flat. That's the kind of player Tyrann Mathieu was. Just if he saw something, screw my responsibility. I'm going to go make a play. I would love, even though he's older, I would love to see that guy in purple.
And how fun would it be to see him in the playoffs against the Chiefs and make a big play?
Talk about added motivation.
Dude,
Whew.
that would be awesome, right?
That'd be cool to see. I would love it. I just don't know if that, from a financial standpoint, is going to make it be able to make it work. But
if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, right?
That's it. That is it. But man, that would be that would be exciting. Devontae Adams put the Jets on blast. Oh, well, look, Devontae, you asked for this. So I don't want to hear nothing. Yeah, he wanted to go to the Jets.
No, but I mean, did he put him on blast? I don't understand. I don't know. I'm not in the in.
I didn't see it, but he better not have, because he asked for this. He wanted this.
He didn't ask. He begged. He pouted and cried and took his ball and went home until he got what he wanted.
That's right.
Dude, I negotiate with a terrorist every day and a 3-year-old. Devontae Adams did his best impersonation of a 3-year-old, right? My son negotiates like this. I'm like, Henry, it's time to stop playing. 2 minutes. No, 1 minute. And then he goes, 5 minutes. I'm like, dude, you can't go back. Like,
no, this is how this works.
Like, come on, man. It's like, gosh. Yeah, anyway, that's what Devontae did. Sean Cole says, are there any stats for stiff arms? Do we lead the league? Probably.
There's probably a stat for it. I don't know where the heck to find it.
In the deep stats, in the deep dark web of the NFL somewhere.
But it's a beautiful thing to see, Sean. I mean, I love to see it. I don't know if there's anything more disrespectful than a mean stiff arm that you can do to a defensive play. I mean, I guess trucking him is pretty disrespectful too.
Yeah. Dude, is this real too, Glenn? Is the leading candidate right now the Steelers for Cooper Kupp?
Good. I don't even care if the Steelers get him. Who cares? Like,
as long as the Chiefs don't get him.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And the Bills.
Yeah. Well, I think the Bills are out of it with Amari, but
yeah,
and I think the Chiefs are out of it too. So, yeah, as long as nobody, I don't really want anybody in the AFC, but I don't know why I shouldn't say that. The Steelers beat us like every time, Jimbo. I shouldn't even say this so confidently.
I know, but
I guess I just have no fear of their quarterback room, no matter who's under center, whether it's Fields or Russell Wilson.
Right.
They don't scare me.
Nah, me neither. Dude, I think that there was something else, point that you wanted to talk about, but I have something. Oh, wait, sorry, my bad. Sean Cole says, F number 22, give 42 the ball.
Stop playing, Sean.
I know. Come on.
Stop it right now. We're going to let 42 keep mauling people.
While 22 we'll let them each do what they're best at.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
and let me tell you, Pat Ricard was born to just drive people into the dirt. Like this guy. Yeah. He's the best in the world as a fullback, and there's no doubt about it.
Glenn, and let's get to a few of these super chats. There's a few coming in here. Don C says, well, actually, before we get to Don C, can we get to the previous one, DK? Sorry. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Tom Botto says, guys, I think Jameis Winston is a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson, and also the Browns are getting back Chubb. I don't think we can overlook this team, especially with their defense. How do you guys feel about that? I understand your point, Tom. I also think they're just mentally a dumpster fire. So when your front office already signals that they've given up on the season, that's got to be hard to, it's not a ton of motivation to make you guys go out there and play. They also gave up their number one wide receiver. So they're selling, right? They're going to sell. And so that's the hard part for me. Like, where is this team? This could be galvanizing for them. I don't know if I see that at this point. So I do agree that Jameis Winston is a better quarterback. They're also just not good. There's not a good football team right now. So I don't take them lightly. Obviously, Nick Chubb, he came back, last week was his first week back. Yep, he's continued to get, to get into form. And their defense has given up 230 spots this year.
Yeah. Here's what I would say about, I tend to agree with Tom, actually. I do think, first and foremost, that the Browns are definitely better with Jameis Winston than they were.
Yeah, I agree.
And looking at their stats for the year, they're like the worst offense in football, but that was under Watson. I don't think they're going to make leaps and bounds of improvements and be like a top 10 offense, but I do think they'll get closer to 20 than they are to 32 where they're at right now. Because they have a great offensive line. They have a really good run game. Scheme is awesome. And while they trade away Amari Cooper, they still have some weapons. They still have Jerry Jeudy. They still have David Njoku, who are two really good players. And they got some speed guys on the outside as well. Yep. And let's not forget, their defense always plays us well. Myles Garrett while dealing with some injuries, is probably playing his best football that he's ever played, which is scary to think about when that guy's the defensive player of the year. And they got a bunch of good guys on defense that I think are going to play hard against us. So I think this is going to be like, honestly, if I had to take a bet on this game right now, I might take the points because the point spread is insane and take the Browns. I mean, I think the Ravens are in the game, but I think the points are like 10-point spread or something. I think it started like 11.5, Jimbo. Like, I think I would take the points, but we're going to get on we'll get on BetOnline and show the spread when we do our preview show. But
and you know what, Glenn? I don't normally do this, but I strongly disagree with you on that one. I think Jameis is going to give us 14. I think he's just going to give us 14 points.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I see what you're
saying. Like, so you're already starting 14 in the hole.
Yeah, but he also might throw for 3. Like, would you be shocked if he had 3 touchdowns?
5 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns for us, or for them, 2 for us, right? Like, he's going to put up a Jackson 5.
He really is. Like, I don't think many balls are going to hit the ground. They're either going to land in our arms or they're going to land in the receiver's arms. But either way, they're going to get caught. It just depends on which direction
you're going to find the end zone.
Yes, absolutely. Massey says Chiefs D hasn't given up more than 28 points in 2 years. Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane, Massey.
Yeah, they're the reason they're 6-0, right? You just talked about it. What is Mahomes? He's 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions right now.
Yep.
He's not playing good football.
No, he's playing poorly.
Yeah, I mean, come on, and yeah. Anyway, so
Jimbo, you know what? I think us playing in week 1 was the best thing that could have happened to us. It gave us a shot to go, all right, that's how they're going to defend us. That's what we need to work on. And man, oh man, I can't wait to see these guys again, Jimbo.
Yeah, because now the monkey's off their back. There's the pressure isn't there the same way it was in week 1 when they show up again. And
there's gonna be some pressure in the playoffs.
No, for sure. But you know what you're seeing is my point.
No surprises, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that.
I'm used to seeing Hopkins, but other than that,
I ain't worried about Hopkins. The thing, I'm not worried about Hopkins, Glenn,
Why?
is because we have the perfect corners to guard that guy. Plenty of physicality, and they'll stick right to him.
Shit on him,
huh?
He's just gonna do to him
maybe,
like all the other big guys do. Yeah, they're right there. He's gonna raise his hands out and catch the rock.
Maybe we'll see, but maybe not Marlon. I worry about Brandon.
By the way, Marlon, let me just say this: Marlon, last 2 weeks, #1 corner in the entire league according to PFF, and even if you count the whole season, he's number 5 in the entire NFL. Okay. All right. Don't hurt yourself, Jimbo. Don't do it.
Come on. Everybody was riding Marlon this offseason. This guy was not.
Yeah, this guy had a massive bounce back, by the way. 4 picks is already a career high for any single season. He's played in, 7 games?
Yeah, let's go, Marlo.
I hope he doesn't miss a bunch because,
he's young, man.
He's young. He's keeping the ball in front of him. And look, he's got ball skills, okay? As long as the ball isn't thrown over his head. If it's anywhere in front of him, watch out.
I think one thing that is lost about Marlon Humphrey, because he's such a goofy personality.
Yeah.
I believe that Marlon Humphrey is one of the best pure athletes. Like, he's a freak athlete. In the weight room, I guarantee he's a freak. On the track, he's an absolute monster.
Oh, I bet he in the bedroom. I mean, hold on. All right. I'm just saying.
But because
tries really hard there too, okay?
But because he's so goofy, Glenn, I feel like it almost gets lost. But let's not forget how insanely athletically gifted Marlon Humphrey is. He's gonna keep getting better. I mean,
and also I think the goofiness overshadows how much of a competitor this guy is.
Yeah.
I mean, holy shit. You won't
no
find
fear.
Much more.
Ultra confident.
It will hit you in the mouth. I don't care if you're a 260-pound tight end or 240-pound running back. He will punch you in the face. Don C says, I think pass rush makes our secondary problems go away. It's a good point.
At least
Don
mitigates them.
While it would be great to pick up an edge if Jimmy eats the Baconator, Owe might as well be Miles freaking Garrett. Yeah, look, we're hoping that this I'm hoping this Baconator gets consumed live on the air here. I really am. And then we might have to follow Jimmy around with a GoPro just to see the aftermath. And we'll be glad that the camera doesn't pick up smell. Okay, that's one thing we'll be all happy about. Because the whole top floor of his house is going to be just put caution tape at the bottom of the steps. Don't go upstairs.
My wife won't even let me go up to the upstairs bathroom. We have the downstairs bathroom
all the way to the basement.
Like no one uses but me.
At your pooping room. I love it.
Dude. It's my throne, baby.
Let's
go. But I tell you what, Glenn, it is to your disadvantage that the Ravens pick up a guy at the deadline.
Well, or it allows him to get some easier looks. You know, you got to look at it.
Or
ways,
he could be on the sideline.
Look, if they go out and grab Khalil Mack, I think we know who's going to be getting double teamed every play. It ain't going to be Adafe. All right.
Yeah, that's fair.
My man's going to be getting singled up.
That's fair. You got to get it done still, right?
That's right. That's right. We'll see. What I don't want to see if they do make a move is 3rd and long, KVN and the new guy on the outside and no Adafe Owe. Now that would be my worst nightmare, but I'm hoping they kick KVN inside and let Adafe get some snaps still.
We'll see, Glenn. I think you're hopeful.
Yeah, Ravens win. I don't think they're trading him either. I'm just saying, let's say they bring in a monster. Let's say they bring in, I mean, even if it's Azeez Ojulari, I think he would command the respect of opposing tackles and OCs for sure.
Yeah, for sure. What else we got to talk about?
Well, I just want to remind everyone that tomorrow we're going to do a Thursday preview. We have some scheduling conflicts that prevent us from doing so Friday. So we're not taking too much of a break. We're going to be back just tomorrow evening, which we're super excited to get you guys all prepared as the Ravens continue hopefully their win streak after starting 0-2, winning 5 straight. Let's hope they can push it to 6. We'll certainly do our best to preview that game and get you up to date on, who's potentially playing, who might be missing, and all things in between. But man, can't wait for tomorrow night. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Last thing we got to do is competition.
Oh shoot. I almost forgot. Damn.
Yeah. So don't sign out yet, guys.
Thank you, DK. Appreciate you. Yes. Contest winner, Maryland and Texas, reminding us what's going on here. I was ready to sign us off. I just need to know.
Way. Did this guy really win again? Go ahead. Sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No way.
3-piece, dude.
Dang.
Dude, DK, he's coming for your job, bro.
Yeah, dude. We're going to have to find out. We're going to have to get more information about this guy.
Well, we'll ask him how he is in front of the camera.
Yeah. Ask him if he has any musings he'd like to share. All right, week 7 over-under competition results. As always, let's get started here. We got the first one is always offense. Derrick Henry carries 19.5 is the over-under. I don't remember. I got to pull it up. I don't remember my answer to this one. He obviously goes under with just 15.
Yeah. I think I said under. I think I said this was a Justice Hill game, and I picked him as my X factor, so I said under.
Yeah, I said under too. I was wrong. Oh, no, I said over. I was wrong. I was the only one wrong. You two were right. I see where this is going.
I didn't look at the doc yet, so I still don't know.
DK, you son of a gun. He does it every week, ladies and gentlemen.
You spoiled it for me, Glenn.
Sorry, Jimbo. All right. Lamar Jackson rushing yards per attempt. 4.1 was the over-under. He goes to 5.8. All of us said over. We were all correct.
Yeah.
Third one, defensive. Baker Mayfield passing yards, 250.5 was the over-under. He goes for 370. We all said over. We were all correct. That was an easy one, right? With this defense. Ugh.
Yep.
Last one, Ravens tackles for loss. 4.5 was where it was set. They get 5. They get over. Jimmy, we said under. You know who didn't say under?
DK. Of course he didn't.
Yes, he did. You said no field goals, all touchdowns. Did we kick a field goal?
We did. We had a 50-plus, right? I think it was a 52-yarder at the end of the half.
You're right. He did kick that. Yeah. Okay. All right. But then, so DK wins. DK wins because he's the only one who got all 4 right. This guy. I was getting sick and tired of DK winning. But the first tiebreaker for those who played at home, total score over under 50.5. They go to 72, smashing by 20, almost 22 points. The over under, we all said over. We were all correct. And the final one, Jimbo, it just comes down to whoever picks the highest number at this point. And
have I been right on every single one this season?
Yeah, because you just keep hitting. You just keep shooting for the stars, they keep going over your prediction.
It's so crazy, too.
Yeah, it's where they ended up. You predicted 465. You were closer than DK, who said 450, and we won't talk about my prediction. So, once again, Jimmy's the winner. I mean, DK's the winner.
I was about to say, what?
2 out of 4.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, Glenn. Shout out to DK. That's all right, Glenn. You'll get them next week. Let's see here. Came down to the second tiebreaker. Are you talking about for the entrance, DK? All right, well, let's get into it. So, yeah. So, of course, we open this up to all those who view the show as well. You win some swag if you win the weekly competition. For the third week in a row, down to the second tiebreaker, Bel Air Ron wins the competition. Bel Air Ron, you already have a sweater and a T-shirt on the way. You will be getting another T-shirt. I'll make sure there's two options. I'll make sure it's the second of the options. That way you have some variation. Yeah. To that, Ron, I did not have your DK keeps our document with our names and addresses on it, and he put Bel Air Ron in there. So Bel Air Ron, when you get your package, it's actually going to say Bel Air Ron on it. Okay. But no, it's from us. Of course you will once you open the swag. Congratulations. We'll make sure we send that third one out here shortly. And
they're calling collusion.
That's awesome.
Hey, look, I mean, he's a Harford County resident. You know what I mean?
He is.
This guy, dude.
Let's go.
Got to look out for our own. Except for Jimmy, who lives in the city. But he used to be a Harford County resident.
That's right.
Back in the golden years. But yeah, I mean, that's it for us tonight, guys. Don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow night to get you guys set and prepared for this weekend's battle against the Cleveland Browns. Oh, hold on. What's he pointing at? Oh, we had another one. Oh, my bad. SMKG said, what would be a perfect, realistic pass rusher pickup? Well, I said it early on if you want to rewind back, but Azeez Ojulari is my pick from the New York Giants. He's got 4 sacks on the season. He's a young player on an expiring rookie contract. They've already signed their 2 edges to long-term deals in Thibodeau and Brian Burns. So it makes all the sense in the world that they're going to be moving him. However, lots of competition in the edge market. So could get outbid. I hope they don't, but we'll wait and see what comes of it. Appreciate the generosity, SMKG, and thanks for watching. Make sure you guys come back and see me tomorrow night, and Jimmy as well. We will be here, so be here or be square.
See ya.